Good afternoon, traders. It is Tuesday, March 11th, 2014, and the U.S. stock market is closed. Had a rotten day today, really tough. You know, we came into this morning, I checked the equity right after the open, and our equity had jumped up to almost $12,000 positive. You know, and if I'd only known, if I could just pull the plug right there and gone fishing for the rest of the day, it would have been fabulous. But this was one of those days where the longer we stay in, the worse it gets, and that was the way it went today. That positive $12,000 that we had right after the open eventually ended up, we're carrying negative $12,000 going into tomorrow, and I'll tell you, that's not going to get better. So we got negative $12,000 going into tomorrow. We closed out about negative $400 and what we closed out. But anyway you want to look, I mean, it looks to me like about a $20,000 drop. That's what took place during the day today. Just really tough. Dow opened up trying to go positive, then it went negative. It went down 67 points. It's below my red line. You know, it doesn't look good. Okay, this is bad. But again, you know, I have a hard time making people understand that there's no system in the world that isn't going to go through these periods. I have a theory about this, and I mentioned this before. You know, let's not talk about systems. Let's just talk about market patterns. Certain market patterns develop that if you follow a certain way of dealing with those patterns, you make money. And when those patterns, you know, kind of gel together, you get a lot of people jumping on these, and they're making a lot of money, and more people realize, hey, this is a good way to trade, and you get more and more people on it. The market will turn around, and it's got to shake those people out. And you can think of, if you want to think about it this way, there's a bunch of Bob Baran traders out there, and the Bob Baran traders been just making too much money lately. And we made. I told you yesterday. We made over $150,000 in February, and most of those traders got to be shaken out. And this is the kind of day that shakes out the Bob Baran traders. And we got to live with that. If we want to stay in this game, we just trade through this and not get too upset. Because actually, it doesn't take too long to shake everybody out. The truth is, most traders have a memory of about 3 days. I'll tell you, after 3 bad days, they'll walk away from what we're doing. And so I just stick with it. I've been sticking with it for over 20 years. I made a pile of money. I'm not worried about this, but it hurts when it happens. Anyway, we're carrying negative $12,000. We closed negative 400. Doesn't look good at all. We had 10 positions. 9 of them are losers. Oh God, I could go on and on. Hey, let's look at the charts. Okay, we're looking at the Dow, and you know, I said yesterday, I thought this thing was kind of like a coiled spring, getting ready to run for the top. Well, it may have started out that way a little. We had, you know, fairly good rally right at the beginning, and our equity was looking pretty good, and everything else. And then this thing just turns around, penetrates the red line, and definitely closes below that. So at this point, you know, I would say, you know, we may be set up for some downside action. And you know, I know it's tough to think about that, but I actually, you know, I look back only as far as January and see what the downside action that we saw at the end of the January, what good that did for us. And so if we have downside action, we're going to lose some more money. I know that, but we're not going to lose a whole lot. $12,000, $16,000, what? That's not a whole lot of money when you compare it to making $150,000 last month. So I am willing to endure this in order to see this thing turn around and see us clean up again. So I don't know what's going to happen right here, but right now it looks to me like it may want to go lower and do a little correction here. Not worried about that. Anyway, I'll show you a couple of the charts. This is, I'll just show you, this is the kind of problem that we had today. This is the market shaking out the Bob Moran traders, right? Okay, this is Adept Technology. We had this gap up yesterday, and we get in here and we buy Adept. We buy gaps. We anticipate gaps are going to go higher, and then it kind of waffled around. We did close slightly profitable yesterday. This morning it gaps up a little bit. We're holding, and it takes out the high from yesterday. It looks good. Looks like Adept might really do well today, and then this thing just collapses. Goes down, down, down. We finally get down here, and folks, that cost us $3,000, $3,000. Bad trade. Started out good, ended up bad, and that is a pattern that we saw across the board today. We got several markets like that, just yucky markets. I'll show you one of our better, our best trade today, but even that is kind of bittersweet. This is GWPH, that's GW Pharmaceuticals. It's a new market for us, and we had bought this thing yesterday. It closed slightly positive, but look at this huge gap this morning. And when I told you, when I looked at the equity this morning right after the open, we were up almost $12,000. It was this market that was doing most of that. This market at one point early this morning was over $10,000 in open trade we were holding in GW Pharmaceuticals, and then it kind of faded back, and I felt really bad when I saw it. But it looked like it might come back, and I was actually getting ready to post, hey, GWPH taken out its high. Well, it failed. It failed to take out those highs, and if you're a technical analyst, that's always a little scary. It falls back here, and we get out here now that we still made over $5,000 on where we got out, but it's not a really good feeling trade when it goes from positive 10,000 to positive 5,000. And then to add just a little bit of insult to it, yeah, our system, it gets back into it. Okay, I guess I should be okay with that, because if it goes back up, we'll make profits there. But of course, it closes a little bit against us, and I can't help but feel like tomorrow is not going to be a very good day for us, folks. So I can't say I'm really happy about this. As I say, this is a bittersweet trade for us on a very lousy day. So obviously, you can tell I'm not very happy about today, but that's the life of a trader. Hey, I'm gonna be okay. This is Trader Bob signing off. I'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday.